Hello everybody, welcome back to Crohn's Magic Corner. I'm Rachel Arazo, your intuitive divination mentor. And today we're going to be talking about when the client says you're wrong. And they totally kill your mood, and 3 ways that you can get your groove back. So first off, I want to make sure that I am live in the group and that everything is flowing smooth. That way I get comments pulled up. Hello everybody. Say hi. Hello again, Anna. Yo, also happy Friday. Let me know what you're doing this weekend. I know this weekend, it's actually next week that my daughter's birthday is, but this weekend we're going to be sharing, we're going to be doing everything because her birthday's on a Tuesday. So a part of taking a break for a few days from the biz, I will be taking care of her. So I will be having a nothing but Paw Patrol themed day tomorrow, with lots of cake and pizza and party streamers, but all puppies. It is going to be exciting. Hello everybody. Let me pull up comments. Ooh, geez. Let me know if you can see and hear me okay, because of course this is acting funky. What is going on? The stream is acting all funky here. Let me know that you can see and hear me okay. Okay. It's going now. Hi Pam, hi Pamela. Hi Maya, hi Lena, hi Melody, hi Anna again. Okay, cool. We're all good. So, okay, get the comments out of there so it's not taking up the screen. Hi Maria. I just saw you pop in. Hi, Rolly. So, let me know in the comments what you're doing this weekend. How are you? How is your life going? I hope that you are doing fantastic. I hope that everything is flowing to you, from abundance and money to love and, you know, lots of cuddles in the middle of the night. I hope everything is doing fabulous for you. Oh, another thing, we're going to be having the Moon Sister Activation Circle tomorrow, so that's going to be fabulous. We're going over the full moon in Pisces with Athena. It's going to be awesome. Rolly said, not sure I'll be able to stay on. That's okay, but wanted to say that when a client says you're wrong like I did this weekend, sometimes there's a tweak in information coming forward. That's very true. Yeah, we're going to get right into the nitty-gritty of it in a little bit, but that's a very, very good point. Let's see. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I've got all my stuff pulled up. Hi, Inger. Hi, Chelsea. Hi. Awesome. So, exactly what Rolly just mentioned in the comments. How many of us, give me likes or hearts if you've ever felt like crap because you were wrong in a reading? You know, with the first time this happened, actually, I noticed it was a pattern when I first happened. When I first started doing practice readings on Tumblr, I talk about this all the time, I would do anonymous readings, so people would just send it to me through the inbox. Yep, I'm getting hearts. So, the people that I noticed that I kept getting wrong readings for were always women with sisters that were in abusive relationships, and I would pick up on the sister because that's what they were thinking about, instead of their actual situation. So it technically made the reading wrong, even though I would be right for a completely different person. And sometimes, even as the years have gone on, yeah, we all have our off days. We have our days from working on the hotlines to doing readings on Etsy, or for your friends and family if you're one of those that have referrals for readings come in, or if you're just starting out and you tried to go live in another group and you were wrong with someone and they tried cussing you out on the live. Whatever it was, it puts you in the hot seat. It makes you feel so terrified and it really can throw your groove off. And the reason being, it's very similar to stage fright. Because I'm an actor, let's pull the acting in here. For those that don't know what stage fright is, it's that stereotypical moment in movies and in plays where they get up on stage and they freeze and the lines don't come out and all of a sudden you gotta pee and or you feel like you're gonna throw up and you're just so nervous about standing in front of a group of people and being wrong or making a fool of yourself and getting embarrassed. Hi Lauren. Hi. So it's like the same thing applies to being a reader, because we aren't exactly in a niche or in a section of the world that is, one, commonly known, or two, looked on with good light if someone does know it. So there's also that thing of, you know, clients coming in and saying, you should know my birthday right off the bat because you're a reader, right? You should be able to know that. Or I'm not going to give you any information because this is supposed to be like that. And it puts all these unnecessary restrictions on you. And then when you don't get it, because you're like, okay, I guess, then you get made fun of. You get pinpointed out, and it makes you feel like crap, you know? Hi, Noelle. Blessed be. Rolly says, my weekend, lots of energy through powwow, meeting someone new to learn his perspectives on meditations. Awesome. And our moon medicine soul sisters coming together for our full moon ritual. That's awesome. That sounds like a fabulous week. Well, that sounds like a fabulous weekend. But it's that thing of, we're all deathly afraid of being wrong. We're terrified of it because what if we're wrong? And especially because we're doing readings, this person has entrusted their life to you, right? What if I get it wrong and they end up breaking up because I told them to, and they could have had kids later and gotten married and had the dream life she wanted? Or what if he could have gotten that job and it would have gotten that raise that he wanted, but I told him to leave, you know? Or I told him to stay and it turned out to be crap. Or I told him to go on that trip to Paris and he got in a plane crash. Whatever it was, you know, it makes you feel personally responsible. And it's the whole thing, like, if clients are entrusting me with their lives or with how their patterns and things and their situations that they're dealing with in their life, it's 100% my responsibility, right? No, it's not. I want to break you out of that habit because you're human. If you didn't know that, you are a mammal called a human, and we all make mistakes. We are not genetically perfect. If we were, we would all be the same organism wearing the same clothes, you know, living in the same kind of world. Everyone would be fed the same amount of rations, and things would be very boring. But because we are all unique and we are all different, we're made to make mistakes, whether you believe that in a spiritual sense or biological, whatever it is. Because pain makes us grow. It's through learning. It's through psychology. It's like you experience pain, you're not going to go toward the thing that caused you pain anymore. Or you're going to find a way to overcome it and build a tolerance, you know? Humiliation gives us tougher skin, okay? And being wrong gives us an opportunity to grow. And I see this debate, you know, especially between the different generations, which I'm not going to completely get into that argument, you know, but where it's like everybody wants to be babied now, when really it's more like we're more aware of our pitfalls and how we want to be treated. And part of that flaw is that then we don't want to trigger people. We don't want to say things that'll hurt their feelings because we want to be the nice, approachable psychic. We want to be the healer where, come to me for hugs. I will make you feel better with cake and cookies, and, you know, your future will be bright and dandy, when that does not happen all the time. And we feel like that if we're honest, it'll screw things over, you know? Hello, Melissa. Said, actually, it's my biggest fear, breaking up a relationship that might have been good. And, you know, think of it this way, before we even get into the tips. They are coming to you because there is a problem, okay? Otherwise, they would not come to a reader. There's something on their mind that does not equate to happiness for them. Even if they say, oh, I just want a general reading, really, they want you to try and figure out what horrible, devastating thing that there is in their life that they need to fix. They're looking to start the existential crisis, which I'm not saying you have to do that, but approach it in that kind of thing of, you are a consultant, okay? You are a third-party perspective that this person is entrusting you with the same amount of detail they would give their best friend, right? If something bad happens as a result of a reading, you are not in control of the other person's life at all, okay? If tarot readers or psychics or whatever modality that you go into, or healers or Reiki healers, whatever you are, if we could control every little client that came to us, it would be very manipulative. That's the kind of reader that, you know, is like, you have a curse on you, I'll remove it for 5K, you know? And when we're wrong in a reading, I feel like we equate to that same level of dishonesty. And that's not the case. That's not what has to happen. You don't have to feel that way. You are 100% valid as a reader if you're wrong still. Because that does not mean you're crap. You know? That's like a civil engineer making a mistake on a building that if they didn't catch early, then people would have gotten hurt, right? Or maybe people did get hurt because of the building's construction. Does that make them a crap engineer? No, they made a mistake. Yeah, can the consequences be very, very bad? Yes, but that does not make them crap as a person, you know? There's a difference between doing things on purpose and doing things by accident. So, today, because we do get in those funks, we feel like we're crap. We feel like we should never do readings again, you know? Like we just need to burn the cards or get rid of them all and never look at another pack of card stock ever again. We're gonna get you out of that. Because this week I heard from a fabulous client of mine that in order to continue doing what they love me doing, I have to meet certain obligations. I have to get paid. I have to show up. In order for me to continue doing this kind of thing, I have to feel secure. I gotta feel safe. And part of feeling safe is knowing that even if I'm wrong, or if I'm not the most perfect teacher in the world, that there's validity in myself. And that when it goes wrong and I feel like crap, that I can bounce back. Does that make sense? Give me hearts or likes if that makes sense. Woo! Missed it. Noah says, oh my god, so right. Life needs tough cookies. Yes, exactly. Anna said, I try to remind myself what I tell people reading the cards is something that they as adults need to decide what and how they deal with. Exactly. The only way I can make myself let it go and not blame myself more than necessary. Exactly. And that's why I like to emphasize bodily autonomy. If you don't know what that is, basically it's when you go to the doctor's office, they cannot force you to do a surgery or to take a blood transfusion or whatever unless you give the okay. If you want a test done, they are obligated to get the test done, you know, because it is your body. You gotta live with your body. The doctor does not. You gotta live with how you are. So it is your decision whether or not you want to take the test or whether or not you want to be an organ donor. After you're dead, they cannot take your organs because bodily autonomy. You chose not to put that on your driver's license or whatever it was, you know? It's the same thing with readings. You can walk into my space because you own the space that you do readings for, paid or free. You can walk into the space and say, I'm willing to do a reading for you, but you need to abide by rules X, Y, and Z. You need to follow these stipulations, and if you don't, then I have a right as a reader to tell you get out of my space. Right? And that is not selfish. That is not egotistical. Okay? That is not being picky or curmudgeon or, you know, hard to deal with. It is your stipulations. It's like if someone were to walk into your house, leave a dump in the middle of the floor, scream at you that you're a horrible person, eat all your food and leave. You're not going to have that happen. Okay? Because there's a respect there. It's the same thing with readings, okay? They come into your space for a reading, and for healing, they need to abide by how you want to do things, okay? And if they choose not to, then that's not the client for you, and that does not make you wrong, okay? Rolly says, on Wednesday I met with a medium who insisted it was my great-grandfather, but I insisted based on the description of the man it couldn't be my great-grandfather. Just continuing listening, and there are messages that we need to hear. It may not be exactly what comes through from the reader, although 90% of the readings I get gives me exactly what I need to hear, but sometimes need to hear the message and see how it fits me. Yeah, there is that kind of thing, where it comes with readers that, sometimes, yeah, the client may not hear the information they want to hear, so they'll say you're wrong. That's very true. Or it's not articulated in the way for them to understand, and that's when you get that whole thing where they need to hear it 7 to 10 times in order to actually get it through their brain, you know? Sometimes that happens, and that does not make you a bad reader. It's just a miscommunication there. But and even from then, if that can make you feel low, we're going to focus on ways to boost yourself back up, okay? So those days, like what Rolly said or like what Anna said, where I screw up a reading, okay? I completely blow it out the water. And this can be either by misinterpreting the cards or by not setting appropriate boundaries for myself and taking a reading at 11 o'clock at night when I should be asleep, or or on my day off, or on a really inconvenient time for myself. And I screw up the reading because I'm not comfortable, or I screw up a coaching call where I'm trying to help someone else with their practice, or I completely just miss the mark in what it means to be a psychic for that day. I am just not tuned in, tapped in, turned on. These are what I do. So, first thing that I do to get my groove back after being told I'm wrong by a client and having a bad experience, I take a break. I give myself some space. This can be 10 minutes. What do I do? This could be as simple as going into the living room to go make myself some raspberry leaf tea, because that's got to brew for at least 10 minutes covered, okay? Tip for the future. Or if I'm feeling really bad and I need to cry, because my husband's a stay-at-home dad. He's always with our daughter in the other room on the other side of that wall while I'm in here. Maybe I need to get up and go get a hug from him. And I need to cry for a second. Or maybe, like, it's the season of candy corn, if you can tell by my earrings. I'll grab my bag of candy corn. Because I'm fat. I don't care. It's what I need to feel good about myself for a minute. Whatever it is that you need to take a break, maybe go take a walk. Or meditate for a few seconds. Because remember, when we're at a low point and we meditate, it gets us to a nice neutral stance again. You know? Whatever it is, you need to give yourself a break. Okay? You need to set it up. So if you are getting paid for readings and you don't have 15 minutes in between each of your readings every day, you need to start doing that. Give yourself some time to breathe. If you're on the hotlines, go offline for a minute. Take a break, okay? Or if you're on a line that doesn't allow you to go offline, hit bathroom break. Just go do something else. Take care of your physical needs. Do something for you and step away from the cards, okay? Because otherwise it's going to drive you nuts. If you keep pushing yourself to do readings, whether it's free or not, when you feel like crap and like you're going to get every card wrong, okay? If you're doing free readings, maybe you need to say, I'm not taking submissions for the next day or so, because I need to give myself time to recoup, because it's tiring. Okay, and the more readings you do, especially when I started out, I was that silly psychic first starting out, doing anonymous readings. Every reading was a Celtic cross, which is 7 to 11 cards. Every reading was a Celtic cross. I would do 20 at a time, and I would be exhausted by the end of it. I would be so tired. I wouldn't want to touch my cards. Okay, because I didn't give myself a break. I just did it back to back to back to back to back to back. So let yourself breathe. Okay? Does that make sense? Who here doesn't give themselves breaks? Because you need to start making a plan to do that. Maya says, I'll catch back up. The nerve of these people thinking I have to work while I work. Oh, Maya. Okay, people are understanding. Raleigh says, turned out yesterday was my great-grandfather because I stayed open. Good. I'm glad that it shifted. Noelle says, sometimes I think we can read and get the messages by being based on what we are going through personally. Then we need to take a break and refocus. Yeah, and that's all come, like, sometimes readers, they don't like reading for themselves because they feel like that it's more biased, or like reading for people that they know because it feels biased, that kind of thing. If you feel like you're like that and you need a bigger break in between to keep yourself in third-party stance, go for it, okay? Maybe the problem isn't needing a break from readings. Maybe you need a break from that specific modality. And that's okay. Okay? The more you know and the more that you work on all parts of your intuition, the better reader that you'll be for the different modes that you use. So sometimes I'm sick of tarot readings. I'll bust out Lenormand. Or I'll use palms. Whatever it is, that's what I'll use. Because sometimes I get tired of looking at cardstock. Maybe I want to sit there and look at my hand for a minute. Change up the scenery. Okay? It's the same thing with, because when it comes to this kind of work, whether, again, it's for free or for paid, it's supposed to be fun. Okay? This is supposed to be something you enjoy. So maybe you need a break from silence. Put on some music while you do your readings. Or maybe because you do the gigantic altar setup and you have your silk bag with your cards in it and your little box and you light all the candles and the crystals and stuff, maybe you need to take a break from that and just go to the park and sit with your cards somewhere. Change it up. Give yourself a break, because that's going to keep you more consistent. That's going to help you bounce back when you feel like you're wrong, because you're going to get new energy flowing in. Okay? And you're going to step away. Love that third-party stance. Yeah, because if you think about it, that's really what we're doing. We're looking at it from an outside point of view. So number 2, to what to do, how to get your groove back when a client says that you're wrong for a reading and you're feeling sucky, right? So show up to support, not to receive, okay? One of the biggest things that I see, if we show up to a reading and we're thinking the entire time, oh my God, what if I'm wrong? Oh my God, I need to remember all the keywords from the flashcards that I made last night and that I memorized this morning for 5 hours, and I don't think I can do this because I'm not prepared for this test. It's not a test. It's not an exam. The client does not care if you have memorized keywords for the past 2 months every night for 30 minutes. They don't care. They just care whether or not you can give the reading. Okay? They care whether or not you come in and own the space. And that can be at a bar, that can be at a coffee joint, that can be in your own home doing readings, no matter where it is. But you need to step out of that, I'm going to screw this up phase. Okay? It's also a difference if you keep thinking to yourself, oh my God, this client is going to be shit, and they're going to yell at me if I'm wrong, and they're going to make fun of me, and they're going to tell all their friends that I'm sucky, and I'm never going to be good at this. Breathe. Step out of that. Because that's not going to happen. You are taking the way of being a psychic and being a reader way too literally. We would lose our damn minds if every possibility that we saw in the future came true immediately. Okay? And this isn't a law of attraction thing, you know, where we attract the negativity, that kind of thing, but it does ruin your vibe if you're sitting there thinking, this client's going to be an asshole, this client isn't going to listen to me, this client's going to say I'm wrong, and I won't be able to remember the keywords. Or whatever negativities you're thinking, it's going to ruin your brain because you're not going to be present. Or, okay, this is another situation. If you are a reader and you're getting paid for your readings and you're sitting there thinking, oh my God, I need to pay my rent. I need to pay my bills. I need to eat tonight. My kids need Pampers. What am I going to do if I don't get this reading? If no one hops on the hotlines? If this woman does not message me back saying she wants a reading today, what am I going to do? If you do that, you show up to the reading with a negative vibe because you are not being present to that person. And that's going to make it wrong or make it come out really sucky, and that person's not going to want to call you again. Okay? So, how you can get your groove back, show up to support. Okay? Think to yourself instead, okay, this reading did not go very well. How did I not support this person? How can I show up and make sure they feel valid? Was I too harsh when she said that he's cheating, but she's still in love with him? Did I laugh in her face? Or did I say, you know what? I get it. You love him, and that's 100% valid on how you feel. I just want to make sure you get the support you need from me and in the best way possible. So how can we get you happy, even if that necessarily doesn't mean that you're with this gentleman? Completely different, right? I'm not laughing in this woman's face and calling her stupid, you know? I'm not digging on him, even unless there's a client that wants you to bad talk him, you know? If you'll get that vibe, if like, oh honey, no, he's trash, you need to leave him, you'll get that vibe. But if you show up instead to say, I'm here to support you, there's a complete difference. You know, does that make sense? Does anybody have a hard time understanding that? How do you get in the hotlines? The hotlines, apply. There's a bunch of them. There is a training for, I'll pull up the training that I'm talking about for the hotlines. You know? And the thing that comes this way whenever you do readings, again, this is for free or paid. If you show up with the intent instead to actually have fun while you do the reading, whether or not it's free or whether or not you get money for it, that makes it so much better. And you get out of your head and you stop worrying about those keywords that you memorized, because that's silly. Don't do that. We want to hear from you. We don't want to hear from a textbook. And we actually start active listening, because a client can tell if you are not present. They can tell if you don't really care about their situation, or if you do, you're just in a different place right now. And they'll think to themselves, well, maybe not, today's not the day for a reading. You know? So take a break first, but then come back to the readings thinking, how can I support this person? Instead of, oh my God, don't be wrong. Does that make sense? Let me see. Still digging up that, beep. And the training that I'm grabbing for the hotlines, for those that are interested in it. Here we go. Ah. Copy link. Is with Christina Quick. How to make epic money on the hotlines. Ooh, magic. There we go. That'll be there. Right there. Grab that. Should be free, so you can see it. And then third thing, to how to get your groove back after, you know, a client tells you that you're wrong and they completely kill your buzz, right? Dust yourself off and try again. All of these sound super simple, but if you think about it, not all the time does it feel that simple. You know, you do something wrong, you don't want to try again, because what if I do it wrong again? You know? That's the premise of so many movies and so many books. Hero tries something first and they suck at it, so they don't ever want to do it again. They don't ever leave their house. You know? Try. Okay? And critique yourself. Okay? What happened the last time you did a reading? Were you not grounded? What were you thinking about it right beforehand? Did you not take care of your physical needs? That is a really that's a big grounding exercise people don't all the time think of when it comes to bouncing back after a reading. When was the last time you had a shower? When was the last time you cleansed your deck and yourself? When was the last time you went to the bathroom before a reading? Are you sitting there doing the potty dance, trying to get through the reading, and the client's wondering why in the world is she shaking back and forth, you know? They think you're weird. Go to the bathroom beforehand and speak up if you need a break. Okay? There's nothing wrong with that. Do you have screaming kids in the background? You know, that's a definite distraction. Maybe next time, in order to really be successful for a reading and be focused and not give the wrong, quote-unquote, guidance to the client, you need to be somewhere without your little ones, or while your little ones are taking a nap. You know? Or maybe, when was the last time you ate? You're sitting there running on low when being a reader, if you are a reader that does not believe, you know, in the energy work and the psychic stuff, then this wouldn't be for you, because that's how I teach you about this kind of thing. But if you are, we're running on energy. Our body is on energy, and you're trying to extend your energy out to somebody else for a reading, and you haven't eaten and hydrated yourself. You need to do it. And that'll help you try again. You know, the answer isn't buying another deck, okay? Unless the deck is completely off, it hates you, and, you know, the art is crap and it doesn't speak to you, then maybe grab a deck that you actually like. But that's not going to be the cause of you being wrong in every single reading, okay? Because all it is cardstock with some color on it. It's completely up to you, okay? Anna. Noelle says, I actually stopped a reading because I felt disconnected. I was honest to them, and when we met again for the reading the following day, it was good. Awesome! Awesome for Noelle. Because when you are upfront about that, like literally, I had to do that one time for the hotlines. This lady was talking to me, and she was talking to me for a good hour. And I'm sitting there like, I gotta go to the bathroom. I'm hungry. My kid is about to wake up, you know? I gotta get my toddler ready for a bath soon. I told her, you know what? Can I have an hour? Because I need to eat, and I need to take care of myself and take care of my child. And that way I can give you my 100% focus. She's like, yeah, sure. Left, went offline, took care of my needs, came back on an hour later, and she was waiting. If they want a reading from you, they will wait. They will fit your schedule. They will fit your accommodations, okay? And the fact that you're upfront about that and you make yourself 100% perfect for them, or as perfect as possible as you can, it stands out, you know? It goes a long way. Hi, Kathy! Well, exactly. Yes. Exactly. And I understand it. It's that whole thing, I talked about this last week of like, Rachel, you've been doing this for a while and you forgot what it's like to be new. Yeah, I can understand that. But think of it this way. That feeling of being nervous for a reading doesn't really ever go away. Maybe after you've done readings with somebody over and over again, but there's still that little thing in the back of your head of, am I on point today? It deals with that energy exchange with you and the client. How nice are they to me? How accommodative? There's a different energy between that lady who likes to message me at 11 p.m. asking if I can do a reading for her when I'm about to fall asleep, and the one who messages me and says, hey, do you have any availabilities for this day? And they pay me like immediately versus, you know, sometimes. There's a completely different energy there, so I'm going to approach it differently. Maybe I need to try again, or maybe this client is not for me. So that's kind of the fourth tip. You know, sometimes the client is not into it. You can be as animated and as into it and asking them, does this make sense? Do you need me to clarify this for you? You can try to get the conversation going, and if they are a dead wall, that's not you. That's not on you. And they can say that you're wrong, or you can feel like you screwed up the reading, when reality is they did not give you equal energy exchange. And to put this in another way, you can see this in films and in plays with actors, especially in improv. that are having a scene back and forth. You can feel when one is picking up more of the energy, when one is giving more to the scene than the other one is. There's a movie, can't remember exactly which one, because my grandmother is a huge James Dean fan, right? She'd watch all his movies. And there's one with his father. Well, this actor is supposed to be playing his father, and the actor in real life could not stand him. Hated James Dean. And he's like in this scene begging on the floor for his father to love him, and you can just see the disdain on this man's face. Like, that's the only energy he's bringing to the scene. And James Dean is playing it up. He's trying. He's crying, and he's a mess, but he's trying. It's like a reader trying to do the reading. Maybe pulling 15 extra cards, staying an extra 30 minutes, you know? And the client is just not having it. And is not doing it, you know? It's very similar. It is not your fault if you are given everything and you are on point and the client says that you're wrong. That's not your fault. It's miscommunication. It's how they perceived your words. Hi, Lisa. What other problems do you have when it comes to a client saying you're wrong? Or your worries of maybe I haven't put myself out there for readings because what if a client says X, Y, and Z? Tell me in the comments, because I want to help you work this out right now. And we will talk about it. I'm going to have a tea break. For real, this is the red raspberry leaf tea. Yes, I know. I know. Facebook notifications. Tell me. Tell me below. I know there's a slight delay. And any question is valid. You're not stupid for asking a question. Okay? There are no stupid questions. Okay? Noelle says self-doubt is huge. Yet when I do a reading, I feel better, but it's a personal head game. Yeah, so it's like, is it more of, am I valid to give this person a reading? Or is it more of, what if I do this and I'm not good at it, and you have this dream of being a reader, or dream of doing this in some capacity for the rest of your life? What do you mean, Nicole? Because self-doubt is a huge subject, but I want to help you get really specific and pinpoint the problem. And Pam, I don't read for people because I'm terrified of being wrong. Is it literally everything that we were talking about today? Because I'm trying to think of the best way to describe this, to help reword it, to help people understand that it's okay. That, Pamela says, this is sometimes a tarot exercise, especially when there's not a right or wrong answer, can be really helpful after a tough reading. Yeah, and that's a very good point. Sometimes there's not a right or wrong answer. That's one thing, because, okay, people want specifics for a reading, right? They want the who, what, when, where, why, how, right? But not all the time can tarot give that. Not all the time will it tell me the specific actions. So perhaps, exactly, maybe you need a little more practice. And not so much in secluding yourself from other people for readings, but maybe you need to find more free practice readings. Or maybe you're being too business-like with your cards. When's the last time you did a reading for yourself and just had a conversation between you and your spirit guide, or you and your cards? You know? Because that'll help loosen you up too, because you are doing it on a personal basis. And again, maybe it's the modality. You know? If there's not a right or wrong answer with tarot, because it's true, sometimes there's hazy lines. Maybe you need to pick a different modality. Like pendulums is straight up a yes or no answer. It doesn't do the in-between like tarot does. So you can pair them up. Same thing with oracle cards. They can be very minute because they're for a straight statement. Palm readings, I want to get to know someone's personality in 5 seconds. Give me their hand. and it's very minute. There's no wishy-washiness with what the lines mean, because that's what they mean, you know? So perhaps it's that. Let me see. Noelle says, it's like I believe in what I do, yet more paranoid people are testing me, which is really self-doubt. Okay, so it's like, what if my cards become sentient and I get possessed by them? Or what if it's, you know, I'm opening the doors to hell because I'm sitting here with my cards? Or what if I never eat tonight because I want to sit here and I have a dream of being a reader? You know, is that kind of thing? That's a valid fear. Because people are very, especially when it's loved ones and family members, it's coming from a good place. They're worry of, that's really what you do. But again, it's that whole bodily autonomy thing. You know your own boundaries more than anyone else. And if you love it, you got to ask yourself, just like you would want to nurture a client in a reading, is this relationship nurturing for me? You know, and I'm not saying cut people out. I'm not saying push people away. I'm saying really think to yourself, is this the kind of person that I want to share this craft with? Because it really opens you up. It helps you balance out everything in your life. It helps you, and when you start bettering yourself, it ripples, you know? Not afraid. Okay. Noelle says, no, I'm a witch, not afraid. More like I'm making sure to separate my feelings and tuning into spirit. Okay. So doubting whether or not it's coming from you or if it's coming from something else. Okay. So that, honestly, takes practice. That takes practice with learning how to trust your gut. And following that. So like if, and it's like split second. It's practicing following your impulses. It's like yesterday I was in a coaching call and I was talking to someone. She's very interested in fire. She started realizing this. And all of a sudden I had the thought in my head, because we were talking about sword fighting, I had the thought in my head of a blacksmith. And I'm like, I told her, like, I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm going to pause this, but I had this pop in my head, and I want to make sure that I mention it before I forget. But have you ever thought of doing any blacksmith work? What if you make your own swords? Okay. I had a reading one time. This gentleman was looking for his friend, and I got Taco Bell in my head, and I'm like, it's 2 a.m. I'm not hungry. Why am I thinking of chalupas right now? I don't even eat chalupas. So I mentioned to him, hey, does your friend have anything to do with Taco Bell? I know that's really weird. He's like, yeah, he used to work there. He just got fired. That's where he is. And sure enough, that's where he was. He was over there trying to get his job back. So it takes practice. So if random things pop in your head, the easiest way to get started with that is a journal. I mention all the time tarot journals. Start writing it down. Because when you start clearing out all that extra gunk and all that doubt, that's when you'll start hearing those random little thoughts pop up. And they feel like they're nothing, but it's inspired thought. And that's what everybody that deals with energy work and the law of attraction and reading, that's what we want to get to. Get to that point where we are following our instinct, you know? Exactly. Awesome. Let me scroll up because I was missing people. Anna says, I feel the same as Noelle. I know that I'm not that bad, but it's still that nagging feeling of what if. But that live I did helped a great deal. I'm glad, which by the way, if you want to be like Anna and pop in the group for practice, feel free. Put up a thread. Okay, this isn't a free reading group in terms of like, I'm only going to show up for free readings. But if you want practice and get feedback, do it. I will hold people accountable to get them feedback to you. I told myself before I started that if I'm wrong, the world will not end. Exactly. They know I'm practicing too. Doesn't matter that I haven't read, spoken, practicing for so many years now. Exactly. And a client does not care either, whether it's free or it's paid. They don't care how long you've been reading. They might ask that after. but they don't care when they first sit down. The ones that do have either read before or they're going to give you a hard time anyway. But that's very, very true. A lighthearted practice exercise that makes it fun can be helpful, like Who Did It Murder Mystery exercise. That's very true, Pamela. One of the best ways, that's why I also like theater, to get to know your cards is sit down and watch Supernatural or Queer Eye or some kind of TV show and pull a card for each character. That helps with the court cards especially, because if a court card comes up, then you're like, ew, Dean is very Knight of Wands. Very. Whereas, Cass is very King of Swords, and it gives you an example of how the characters are. That's a very good tip. Kathy says, I used to get flustered, but I can deal with it now. I just say, hey, I admit I don't bat 1,000 and stay lighthearted and redirect. Exactly. Just roll it off. That's also why sometimes I will recommend acting and improv classes to psychics, not in the terms of being fake, but in the terms of keeping a straight face. That way, if someone does sit at your table or pop up on the hotlines that is really bizarre, you can keep a straight face and let it roll off your sleeve. Because I've had some very interesting people, but if you know how to just, okay, let's roll with it, then it's better for you. Let's see. Pam says, I can read cards on my own and the reading can be accurate, but when I think of reading for someone else, I get scared and anxious. Could it be from being told that I'm not good enough and stuff like that from parents and others? Absolutely. Absolutely. That's very much a sacral chakra issue. That's like saying, hey, mommy, I want to be an artist when I grow up. And they're like, well, you better pick a job instead that's going to feed you. And you're like, but I want to do this because I enjoy it. It's like, you're never going to do anything like that. So if you have issues with trust, or if you have had people constantly put you down and tell you you're wrong, that's some inner work that you got to work on too. But that's very true. That's some deep-rooted sacral chakra work there that's got to be had. Susie says, a lot of times they just don't want to face the fact and are in denial. That too. That's that kind of fourth tip there. It doesn't mean your reading is wrong, they just haven't accepted it yet. Yeah, it's that whole thing. They gotta hear it 7 to 10 times to actually get it through their head. And sometimes you're the 7th or 10th time they come to your booth. And sometimes you're the 2nd or 3rd. And that's when they're like, whatever. She's a fake. I'm just gonna crumple this up and throw it in the trash. I'm not gonna think about it. But really, it's gonna weigh on their mind. And it's gonna start popping up everywhere, and then they're gonna be like, yeah, she was right. I shouldn't have cussed her out. Yeah. Because we know what we're talking about, And not in an egotistical way, but in like, you started this because you wanted to heal yourself, and then it grew to wanting to heal other people. So don't take it super, super hard. Noel says, thank you. You're super welcome. That's why I want to chat with you like this, so I can be sure to support you. Pamela said, personally, I hold the intention that it is always what the client needs to hear at this time, so there can't really be right or wrong. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, if you have that space, for just like, you may not want to hear this right now, but I'm going to tell you this, that helps it so much. It's like, I want to support you, and sometimes that support you might not want to hear. Like, there's a specific sign on your hand I want to mention every single time I see it, because it means you have the potential to save someone's life, but it doesn't say whether or not you'll be successful. It pops up. It's at the bottom of your hand. And when I see it for a reading, I like to mention it. Just in case, because and it doesn't tell you when it'll happen. It just says you have the potential. And it's something that a lot of people don't want to hear, especially if they have someone that is mentally unstable or is going through some health issues at that time. They might not like it, especially if I can't tell them whether or not they'll be successful. But I feel they have a right to know, because that'll help their decisions in the future. That'll help them figure out what path they want to go on, But it does not mean you are liable because you created that safe space and you told them what the support that they needed, not what they wanted to hear, does not mean that you are liable for whatever actions they take afterwards. Pamela says, going live is a huge help and made me gain some confidence. Exactly. Especially because we're worried. The client that says you're wrong and is going to get mad at you and throw a big fit is one in like every 30, 40 people. You realize how many readings that is? That means if you do 90 practice readings, that's maybe 3 people that are going to be the off, you know? That are going to go off the wall. Not all the time does that happen. So it's good to prepare yourself just in case, but don't let that limit you from doing readings at all, okay? Because you will be okay. You'll be fine. Noelle says, I never thought of that. I got invited to a shop, to a table, the day I had a panic attack. I'm like, girl, go get some damn confidence in yourself. And that's okay. That's okay, because it's scary for you. It's putting yourself out there. Give yourself baby steps. Okay, so for some people that means reading for themselves, then their spouse, then their friends, then their family, and then opening it up. Okay, whatever it means for you. If that means hopping on Tumblr and doing it for anonymous people that don't even know you, go ahead, because the odds of you running into those people ever again, it's not very high. And if they came back, it's because they actively sought you out, because they want to read from you again and they want to talk to you again. Pam says, thank you. You're super welcome. Yeah, so for the Sacral Chakra, that's one of the big things that we uncovered for the Chakra Challenge that actually we're heading into the last week of for next week for the program for the Academy. Yeah, it gets intense, and we cleared all of that out. Actually, today, right before this, we did an activation for the third eye, because your third eye, your intuition, is linked up to your sacral, okay? It links up, an upper to a lower. So if you've got some inner child stuff that happened between 2 years old and 4 years old, that caused some trust issues and not letting you play, that's probably causing a block. You need to start clearing that. Also, any shadow work and inner child work you're doing, literally both of those live in your sacral chakra. So finding balance there as well. I would really recommend to do that for your full moon ritual, because we're in Pisces. So finding that balance. Do that. Work on some shadow work and balancing it with your inner child tomorrow. Noelle says, I've gone live a few times. I know I need to relax as I feel like I'm holding my breath. Yeah. Just breathe. Yeah, and there's all kinds of extra little tidbits. So like if you are witchy and you like to do that kind of stuff, having hematite out, that keeps the crazies away from me on the hotlines. Putting some citrine on your deck to clear it. Wearing your favorite color coordinated, or use color therapy or color correspondences. It all makes sense, you know. Noel says, is there a class to clear that child trauma? All of it is really sacral chakra based. What I offer is doing that with one-on-one coaching, but those that are doing the Heal Your Chakras in 7 Weeks program right now, they're getting that. They got that the second week. And it started clearing it. And then today, we started clearing that as well, because this whole week was the third eye, so it linked up. So, shoot me a message, or even go look under the pinned post, under, you know, I think it's like, continue your practice or something. If you click on the photos, it'll take you to where you can work more one-on-one with me about that. One of my coaching students is working on her shadow and clearing child trauma. But yeah, it takes some practice, for sure. It takes a lot of confidence in yourself to bounce back and forth. So really be gentle on yourself, but don't let any client or any possibility of someone saying that you're wrong ruin your vibe. Okay? Don't do that. You know? Just be really true to yourself, Because sometimes the info is off and the client doesn't understand. Sometimes you're just really making it too stressful for yourself. Find a balance for yourself and get right back into it. You know? Noah says, I'd like a one-on-one when you have time and availability. Sure, shoot me a message, because we make it fit your schedule. Yeah, I'll message you after this and chat with you about it. But does anyone have any other questions? Haha, it's 11:55. Inger says, personally, I've experienced that doing tons of readings, I'm a hotline reader, yes you are, has gotten me to see patterns and snapshots instead of individual cards. So start doing readings, lots of them, just jump in and trust it, yeah. And exchange readings with others, absolutely. I'm very much the same way, just start doing it. Because otherwise you're going to sit there at your desk and you're going to twiddle your thumbs and be afraid. Just do it, just go do it. It's, the best way I can describe it as well, I talked a little last week about this, but when you have a show to put on, right? Let's say you're in a show. You got the part already. You did all the months of work. You've memorized the lines. So in this case, you've done the prep work. You've memorized all the keywords. You know your cards backwards and forwards, right? And now you've put on your costume. You've put on your makeup, you've gotten ready for the reading. All you gotta do is say your first line. All you gotta do is sit down at that table and start talking. And it'll start flowing. That's all you gotta do. And who cares if you drop a prop? Pick it up. Don't leave it in the middle of the stage, please. You know, pick it up. Who cares if the cards are all reversed, or if, you know, something goes wrong. It's okay. Keep going. Roll with it. The show is still happening. Okay? The audience is still there, so your client is still there and they're relying on you. They want to be transported. They want to be put on a journey. And that's what you're doing with your cards, and that's what you do with a show. You know, it's that same level of vulnerability. And you can relate to your client, because as you get to know their energy, they're getting to know yours. It's again, like they're telling you information they would tell a best friend or tell a spouse, you know? It's really vulnerable stuff. So show up to support them, even if you're wrong, quote unquote. Show up and try again. If you mess up on a card, just tell them, you know what, I'm a teensy bit nervous, so I apologize if I talk really fast, or my hands are flailing, or whatever it is. I'm trying to loosen up too. But I'm gonna warn you now, you know? And if you need a break from the reading, say, you know what, can I have a quick bathroom break? I will be right back. And go get yourself a breath, wash your face, whatever you gotta do. No questions? Awesome. Anna says, it's been lots of interesting things to talk about, so I'm good. Awesome. Judy, hi Judy, says, sometimes the cards tell the story even if their mouths are shut. Exactly. And just read it like it's a story. You are in God mode for The Sims, okay? You are looking down at all these little characters on these cards, looking and playing out their lives. All you're doing is turning that into English and not in a visual representation. Okay? That's all it is. Just breathe. It's always, it will get better with time. Okay? And just start it. Just do it. Noelle says, thank you so much. Best talk I've heard in a while. You're very welcome. And that's why, like, that's how come in the past couple weeks I've been putting up, what do you want to hear from me? What do you want to do? Because I want to support you all like that. And it doesn't matter how it turns out. I just want to make sure you're ready to go out there in the world and go do readings. You know, whatever you want to do. Let's get you through it. Let's get you out the door. Just go. And if you want to chat with me one-on-one, I always got, where is it? Let me get the link for it. I always have spots open for you to chat with me one-on-one about your practice that you can sign up to. I believe I have stuff available next week. It won't be available Monday through Wednesday because, like I said, I'm going to have a very Paw Patrol weekend with my toddler who's turning 2. But you will catch me after that. But here's a link to my calendar. If you have not talked with me already, if you've already talked with me one-on-one, just be sure to fill out the app and let me know what your practice is and how I can help you. Boop, pinning it. Because I have spots for coaching one-on-one still open. We always have room in the academy to get you out the door. So just let me know. I'm here. If there's no more questions, I hope everyone has a fabulous Friday. I'm going to go get some lunch. And we're going to get Paw Patrol stuff ready for tomorrow. I love the candy corn earrings. I am a candy corn fiend, okay? And speaking of that, starting next month, you guys aren't going to want to miss what is happening in this group because I'm going to be making a very special announcement. And all of you are readers. All of you love learning new things, so I know you're going to adore this. And there is candy corn involved. It's exciting. Thank you. You're super welcome. I hope everyone has a happy Friday. I love you all. Bye.